What if I told you that Canada is backing a Trump project that's more about ego than strategy? And we're doing it on purpose. Not because it's smart, but because it's smart to pretend it's smart. You're going to want to hear about this one because I'm going to explain how this weird little dance that we're doing is actually may help us avoid a diplomatic and or a financial disaster. I'm Steve Sanford. You're watching Dominion Report. So, about Donald Trump's so-called Golden Dome project. If you haven't heard about it, prepare yourself for something that sounds like it's from the twisted brains of a Bond villain. The short version. Trump wants to build a massive, heavily fortified, high-tech missile defense shield covering the entirety of North America. He is pitching it as a patriotic, world-changing security measure. According to him, Canada is on board to participate, and he is claiming that Canada will contribute $61 billion to the project. Now, the Golden Dome is not actually a blueprint or even a plan. At best, it is concepts of a plan. There's no set budget, there's no timeline, there's no engineering feasibility studies, and there's certainly no congressionally approved funding. What there is a lot of bluster, vague ideas, and Star Trek sounding techno talking points that have been posted to social media. Now, besides me, is anybody old enough to remember the Reagan era Star Wars proposal? This is kind of like that, except instead of satellites, it has metaphors and buzzwords. The reality is, this thing is just Trump's latest vanity fantasy project, kind of like the border wall was. And it is quite simply not going to ever happen. I'll give you 3 key reasons why, plus a bonus reason afterward. First is the cost. This project will require many hundreds of billions of dollars. Now, forgetting for the moment that the current rhetoric in Washington is about reducing debt and reducing deficit, at this moment in time, Congress can't even pass a basic funding bill. Okay, so the second is logistics. You would need cooperation from a dozen government agencies, ones that have recently been defunded and destaffed by DOGE, and as well as participation from the military-industrial complex, who are currently financially stressed by tariffs. Plus, perhaps most difficult of all, is you'd need public buy-in. Third, and this is the key, the third point is timing. Trump has 3.5 years left in his term. So anybody who thinks that this type of project can get done, or at least enough of it can get done to make it cheaper to complete than cancel, by the time his term ends, is being somewhat delusional. Trump, of course, is in his second term, and the US Constitution forbids a president to stay beyond 2 terms. Unless, of course, there's a plan underway to subvert the Constitution, to have Trump run again, to undermine the chances of a free and fair election to ensure he's elected again, but that's a topic of a different video. What we're discussing today is what should Canada do about all of this Golden Dome foolishness. Now, just before we get to that, I promised you a bonus reason on why this won't work, and here it is. As we recently saw with Ukraine's Operation Spiderweb, the future of warfare isn't necessarily missiles. And a defense shield like this would probably just generate a really, really expensive false sense of security. Now, back to Canada's response on the Golden Dome. Trump's team has suggested that this is the ultimate security partnership deal between the US and Canada. But is it really? Canada is currently engaged in a financial war with the United States in the form of extreme tariffs put in place by Trump. This after the USMCA, the United States-Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement, was signed by Trump, and it was also a partnership deal that he signed and is now flagrantly violating. So should we trust him? The answer is no. The slightly less short answer is that we should at least pretend to play along. Canadians are often called polite, and in this case we are practicing strategic politeness. Try to think of it like that time your crazy conspiracy theory uncle came over for Christmas. You smile, you nod, and you wait for the dinner table topic to be changed to something other than 5G microchips, chemtrails, or ivermectin. Canada is basically just saying right now, yeah, sure, brah, sounds great, we're down. Let us know when you have some deets, we can grab a beer and talk about it. This strategy buys goodwill from Trump and, importantly, time for Canada to continue with its economic reset. Time to develop trade infrastructure to cross both oceans, and time to build an economy that is independent of the United States. And it's also a useful distraction. It allows Trump's team to focus on a golden fantasy, while we strengthen our actual defense partnerships with Europe, with the Commonwealth, and with NORAD. It also allows us to work on Arctic sovereignty, combating misinformation campaigns, and developing more of an in-house defense strategy. This is foreign relations. In foreign relations, countries don't have friends. They have interests. And for Canada, our interest is best served by being strategically polite. Now, I've been playing armchair diplomat here, and now it's your turn. I'm curious to know what you think of the Golden Dome, what you think of Canada's part in it, and how Canada should be playing this strategically. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more straight talk on the issues important to Canadians, be sure to subscribe. We have recently passed 2,000 subscribers here on our small but mighty channel, and I'm excited to grow that to 5,000. I really do appreciate the support. In the meantime, stay calm, stay strong, and elbows up.